Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. 4 topics for this video. One has to do with something I covered I think yesterday, and that is eventually the Americans will allow the Ukrainians to hit targets deeper inside Russia than they're allowed right now by their bosses. This is from Sputnik. That's the first one. The other one is, why don't want some Ukrainians to fight for the guys in charge of Ukraine? We got over 400,000 reports filed on Ukrainian draft dodgers. That is over 400,000 reports of people who are just... Why? Are they cowards? We're going to discuss that. The third article. NATO countries, some NATO countries, will give more Patriot systems to Ukraine and air defense systems. Part of those countries is the great country of Romania. I told you the Romanians will do what Al Capone wants them to do. And they will do it. Why? Vassal state, A class, first class. And we have 1, 2, 3 articles dealing with that. And the last one is Poland really wants to be bombarded by the Russians. Really, really. I mean, they're doing almost everything to get to that result. And we have an expert, don't you like experts, telling us that Poland should do something. I'm going to tell you exactly what, and that is destroy Russian missiles over the airspace of Ukraine. Therefore, having NATO defending the air of a non-NATO country because they want. So, and the question is, if this imbecile, the expert, thought about the ramifications of such a thing. And I will ask that imbecile some questions. See how he's going to answer. All right, first one. Ukraine seeking to convince US to fully lift ban on strikes inside Russia, reports. This is from 1 hour ago. And I covered this, I think, yesterday or the day before in one of my videos. And I said, they will. They will. Why? Because they did the same thing with, my point was, move here. The point was, they did this with, if you remember, armored vehicles, tanks, short-range missile systems, air defense systems, mid-range, long-range, now F-16s, all of these, the West said, the American says, no, there's not going to be it. No troops on the ground in Ukraine. Okay, that too. So it's up, and they applied the same technique as I mentioned it so many times before. The mountain slope model. Start small and then get people used to it and then drop the decision that has been made a long time ago. Kiev is seeking to convince Washington to lift a ban on Ukrainian strikes inside Russian territory with US-supplied weapons in the course of the NATO summit, Politico reported, citing Ukrainian President Office head Andriy Yermak. Andriy Yermak is the presidential office head, so he's like a chief of staff. You know your country's chief of staff of the president? I'm almost certain you don't. I said this many times. I don't even know America's. I know he's Jewish, but just a coincidence. All right. Here is next article coming from the New Voice of Ukraine. Over 400,000 reports filed on Ukrainian draft dodgers. In 2022 alone, draft offices drew up more than 50,000 protocols for breaking military registration rules. 50,000 protocols they drew up. They're rules under which you are breaking military registration rules. Only one. You don't show up, court-martialed. The highest numbers were in Zhytomyr, and then Kiev, Volyn, and Zakarpattia Oblast. Offers paid a total of $1.2 million in fines. A lot of money. So the number of protocol increased significantly in 2023 to 2024 with 100,000 administrative protocol issued across Ukraine in just 1.5 years, resulting in fines totaling $3.67 million. The highest numbers during this period was in Lviv, which is the Polish area of Ukraine. It's in the west by Poland's border, something that the Poles will take. Zakarpattia, that's the Hungarian area that the Hungarians claim that's theirs. And Dnipro, almost 10,000 oblast, and Dnipro Oblast. Okay, my friends, these are the guys that don't want to show up. Why don't they want to show up? 400,000 reports, right? It says here, in 2022, draft officers filed over 100,000 reports searching for those evading military service. The highest numbers were in Lviv, again, Ternopil Oblast, Lviv, and Ivano-Frankivsk Oblast. It's in the east, in the west. And that's what it is. In 2023 and the first half of 2024, the number of reports of draft dodgers tripled to 316,000. So altogether, more than 400,000 people did not show up or did not want to fight. Why? I have my suspicions that, one, some of them are afraid. We are afraid. We don't want to die, do we? So, are afraid. The other one, they don't want to fight for Zelensky. Some of them are maybe have another allegiance for some other countries. And the other one, they figured out the game. And the game is outside foreign interests who control, harness Al Capone and others created what they created in Ukraine in 2014 and beyond. And then they are now answering those interests orders in order to fight someone that maybe these guys don't want to fight. All right? Some of them are just traitors. I mean, all traitors if you're a draft dodger, aren't you? So, let's go to the next topic coming from Ukrinform. NATO countries to provide Ukraine with additional Patriots, dozens of other air defense systems. So NATO goes full force in. The leaders of the United States, the Netherlands, Germany, Italy, and Romania have announced the transfer to Ukraine of 5 Patriot and SAMP-T strategic air defense systems, as well as dozens of tactical air defense systems in the near future. Relative to what near future? To the age of the planet? Billions or what? And I'm quoting, today we are announcing that collectively, because courage is collective and cowardice is individual. Right? The other way around, obviously. Collectively, we are providing Ukraine with additional strategic air defense systems, including additional Patriot batteries donated by the United States, Germany, and Romania, Patriot components donated by the Netherlands, and other partners, or their partners. Is the slave the partner of the owner, of the master? I don't think so. So, who are the partners? Guys, don't fool yourselves. You are the vassal states of Al Capone. You are on his plantation. And the other guys say, hey, come over, Red Rover, we're going to help you break out. But, well, they're still having a grip on these guys. And other partners to enable the operation of an additional Patriot battery and at an additional SAMP-T system donated by Italy. The document reads, good for you. Next article. CNN, Biden opens NATO summit by announcing new air defenses for Ukraine. Isn't that sad? When you want to become a president for 3 times or something and eventually you get, but you can't enjoy it. Biden, I don't think he knows what's going on around him. So it's like, let's say you or I want, let's say, a football ball to play football, an Artex, right? A good one. But then I don't get all my life, but when I'm 80 and I have only one leg because the other one was cut off with, let's say, a gangrene, then I receive a football ball. Isn't that pathetic? You receive the ball but you can't use it. You know, or you wanna watch a movie and you get in the possession of the movie, but then you become blind. Biden is the president, but I don't think he knows that he can separate, be feeling that he's the president. So Biden opens NATO. He's like, that's Biden. All right, so he opens it. He doesn't know what's going on. Oh my God, what a goofy people here. Let me show you. And I draw your attention to the one on the right mostly, not the one in the center. That was the guy in the center, that was the best picture. But look at the guy on the right with glasses, not Stoltenberg, the other guy. And these guys want something, and I'm not going to give it to them. Right there. Look at those guys. A check behind Biden, the other guy on top. These are weaklings. They look like inbreds to me. But hey, they don't look like me, do they? All right, let's move on. We got, what's going on here? A lot of things. Things. All right. Sputnik. Biden says United States, European allies, they're allies, to provide Ukraine with dozens of new air defense systems. This is from the Russians. The United States and several European partners will provide Ukraine with dozens of additional air defense systems in the coming months, President Joe Biden said during remarks at the NATO Leaders Summit in Washington, D.C. And we're going to go to the last article, Ukraine Forum. Expert says this, an expert. NATO should approve Poland's downing of missiles over Ukraine at political level. So they want that to be a fact right there, political level, not only you do it, okay? All right. So what would happen? I would ask this imbecile this question. Let's name the guy who came with this idea. Not idea, this guy was, the idea was already, and I said they will do it. But there would be a de facto, how do you call that? No-fly zone over Ukraine, provided enforced by NATO. Who the fuck is NATO? The guys who did the same thing to Gaddafi, the bad dude that was cooperating with the West. Now, the North Atlantic Alliance, defensive alliance, but they bombarded Yugoslavia, should agree at the political level on the possibility shooting down Russian missiles over the territory of Ukraine by Polish air defense forces. This opinion was expressed in an interview with Ukraine Forum by a military expert, former commander of the missile and artillery forces of the Polish army, Yaroslav Kraszenski. So this guy says that, oh, Mr. Yaroslav, hey, Yaroslav, what if the Russians bomb you with nuclear weapons the next day? Then what? You can't defend that, you're done. Oh, you say that the West will bomb with nuclear weapons Russia because of you? Okay, let's say they do. And then what if the Russians bombard the West with nuclear weapons? What happens then, Yaroslav? Oh, we all die. For whom? For whom? Do you want to do that? You do it. So that's my question for the imbecile. And I guarantee you that the Russians, and I said this many, many times before, the Russians will have no patience with the Baltic states and Poland. No patience. They have a lot of patience in this situation because they can do the same thing to the Poland, to Ukraine. But they consider the Ukrainians the same people, brothers, cousins, whatever. But the Poles, definitely, they're not their cousins. They should be because they're all, Slavs. But the Baltic states, the same. The first opportunity, the bear will fart, and Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia will just be blown into the Baltic Sea like pff, only a fart from the bear. And Poland will just need to growl. And then the Poles are, Al Capone, bad dude. Oh, it's okay, I'm going to intervene. They're not going to intervene because if they intervene, there's going to be the end of everyone. All right, so that's the expert. If they do that, I guarantee you the Russians will hit the targets. As I said, the targets that hit their targets. So let's say incoming Russian missiles over Ukraine. And then you have the Poles. The Poles being the Americans and everybody else. NATO. Bzz, bzz, bzz. What do you think will happen? From here, there. This guy's going to send something in Poland. And then Poland is going to say, hey, we are under attack. We are in self-defense. We're going to intervene and we're going to fight Russia. They don't understand that there are the useful idiots. Those guys are going to switch from the Ukrainians to you. And then the next one could be the Romanian idiots and others. And the Baltic states know, because the Baltic states know. They know 6.1 million people. That's the total population of the three mighty Baltic states, Lithuania, Estonia, and Latvia. Okay, so it's just a poo and like, and that's gone. All right, now here we go, my friends. Yaroslav, he says that should be done. Did you think of the consequences, you baboon? Did you think of the consequences? And if you thought of the consequences, that means you are really irrational. We'll see, we'll see. I think the West will do that, or will say will do that, and what I expect the Russians to do is exactly what I said. And then the guys will say, what should we do? And the Americans are going to say, oh shit, the next is us. So no, let's save face somehow. And they will do. And the Poles will be without balls, snipped, like the Germans in 1945. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just. See you later.